Biological Transmutation by Louis Crevran. Now, Louis Crevran was an eminent French scientist who studied the reaction of elements in a biological function. He observed, measured and tested the amount of particular minerals on ingestion and excretion in biological systems. The excretions, whether from eggs, from chickens, urine from workers in extreme heat, ocean crustaceans molting, each experiment gave an insight into the peculiarities of nature, in which we see the biological systems have unique mechanisms to provide nutrition of elements. Now, Crevran explained in France what we have seen here in kiwi fruit orchards. Where no potassium is applied to the soil, the kiwi fruit will be produced with some of the highest levels of potassium of any fruit. And we will also see very high levels of potassium levels, which when in a healthy biological state continue in that way, and that is without applying any potassium. Seems unlikely, but that's exactly what's going on. And Mr. Crevran certainly showed some insight into what's going on. Crevran showed that in France, plants take up approximately 1.5 million tonnes of potassium oxide from the soil every year. Only 450,000 tonnes being applied as chemical fertiliser and 300,000 tonnes as farmyard manures. Thus, every year twice as much K is taken from the soil as added to it, and no one is able to explain the shortfall. But there isn't a shortfall because the potassium is in the soil. So what Crevran actually came to understand is that a calcium ion, an element of calcium, could remove one hydrogen from that calcium and convert it to a potassium element. Now this seems really strange, but this is actually what was going on. Now the key in all of this is that every part of the equations require biology to be functioning in a really healthy manner to allow the biological equilibrium. Now when you look at the biology in relation to plant growth in it, this is just one example. Soil biology in relation to the crop grown where the plant exudates help determine what minerals are required by the crop grown. So like in a healthy kiwi fruit orchard, the sugars go down from the photosynthesis of the plant, down through the roots and into the fungal mycelium and the bacteria in the soil, and is saying we need lots of potassium. And so the biology in the soil go about converting the excess minerals, calcium, silica, back into potassium. And hence we get lots of potassium in the fruit, and we also have lots available in the soil. You can measure it every year. You can do a total test, you can do a available test, you can do the fruit test. It doesn't balance up to what is actually gone on to what is actually the amount of potassium that's produced. And Louis Crevran in his experiments showed this to be exactly the case. Now there's plenty of these experiments to show the differing chemical reactions or like transmutations of those elements, and we'll go through those now.